he got this hesitation and, almost like he's going to go back inside. And then he starts to the wheel. And I think Howard's going, ha, I got you. I saw this on tape. You're not going to fool me with this. And now all of a sudden, boom.
What's up, everybody? This is the Alex Rollins NFL YouTube channel. Today, we are joined by, once again, the American underdog. I'm still a little mad I was not cast as Dick Vermeil, to be honest with you. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, the Hall of Fame quarterback, Kurt Warner. Kurt, how's it going today?
Going well, Alex. Sorry about that. I didn't have anything to do with the casting, so you can't blame me for that one. But life is good. Life has been busy. It's been a crazy fall and into the summer, but it's all good stuff. So can't complain. And as you know, season right around the corner. So getting excited about what the possibilities are for this upcoming NFL season.
Definitely, without a doubt. And I'm especially excited about this Las Vegas Raiders offense with Derek Carr, then Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller already in the mix, now adding Davante Adams, and of course, Josh McDaniels coming over as the head coach. I'm very excited about them. I'm definitely curious how you're projecting them, and just wondering, how good do you think they can be?
When you break down offenses, the first thing you look at is, do they have that number one guy, that special player? Obviously, with Davante Adams, you have that guy. You have that guy that anytime they're one-on-one, you say, all right, we are good to go. Oh, yeah, and then we have Darren Waller, who is another one of those guys that has to create extra attention, and you've got to make sure you know where he's at on every single snap. So not only do they have one, they have two guys right now, and a Darren Waller who's a guy that they can use all over the place. And then you mentioned Hunter Renfrow, who we saw, and although I'm not sure he's a number one type guy, last year when Darren Waller was hurt, that Hunter Renfrow for a 4 or 5 week stretch there was as good as anybody in the National Football League. And so now he gets to do what he does well and be a complementary piece in the slot. Add Josh McDaniels, who's extremely creative. Obviously, he had Gronk, who's a guy similar to Darren Waller for so many years and understood how to use him. I mean, you look at this offense and you just say, I don't know how they're going to be stopped by different defenses. What's going to be the plan? I think this is going to be one of the best offenses in the league. Obviously, it all centers around Derek Carr, who I believe can be a top-notch quarterback in this league if he plays aggressive football. And we've seen that at times throughout his career. So if he can play aggressive with those playmakers, man, we know the AFC West is going to be so much fun to watch every time they go against each other. But I think the Raiders have a chance to be a top 5 offense without a doubt.
I couldn't agree more. I'm really excited about watching especially coming back to the verticality of this offense a bit with Davante Adams and adding that element, and then these guys, Waller, who can also go vertical, and then Renfrow underneath. I think they're going to be unbelievable. So the first play I wanted to talk about, here we have Cincinnati running a form of cover 4 quarters called cover 4 solo, where we have 4 deep defenders and 3 underneath. And the Raiders are running the Mills concept, which is a dig and post. And what they're really trying to do here is conflict the strong safety. Walk me through how you utilize this concept, and what do you think Derek Carr is doing here?
As you said, we're looking at the safety on the top hash, or what we would consider the right hash. And with a skinny post on the outside, we see the corner out there on the skinny post is playing a little bit of outside leverage. So everything looks good, but all I need is that safety to do that right there. It's not much. And for people sitting at home, you're probably thinking, come on, he's got to do a little bit more than that. But all I need to see is that safety lean a little bit to the inside with proper leverage on the outside. And boom, this ball is coming out. I don't even need a hard reaction. I don't need that safety to jump Hunter Renfrow on the inside. I simply need him to hold and take a step inside, get his weight going inside, and then let this ball go. I think Derek could be a little bit quicker on this as well. You'll notice how he takes a bit of a hitch and then lets it go. Still a great throw on the money, but you see how the safety becomes a little more involved. This is what we call a timing throw. So hit the back foot, hold on the back foot, rip that post right there, and let it go as soon as you get the first step by the safety. But nonetheless, a really, really good throw on the body of the receiver. And just, you can't do it a whole lot better than that.
I totally agree, and I was curious watching. Usually this is, as you said, it's right at the top of the drop. That's when this ball is getting ripped out. Let's go over to the
let
tight end.
me go back if you don't mind, Alex.
Please.
I love the details of the game. So I want you to watch Hunter Renfrow right here. Because again, we're looking at the outside, we're looking at the post, but what becomes so vital about this play is the inside release by Hunter Renfrow. As he sets up and then goes right inside. Notice as soon as he goes inside, what's the safety do? The safety holds and takes the step back to the inside because the responsibility of that hash safety is not to allow Hunter to get inside of him because that's an easier throw for the quarterback. So that route detail right there. If Hunter Renfrow goes out over the top of that nickel defender, that nickel does a better job of squatting inside and forcing Hunter Renfrow over the top, we don't get that reaction from the safety. We don't create this window right here, and we probably don't get this touchdown if we're the Las Vegas Raiders. That little initial detail of Hunter forcing the issue, freezing that nickel defender and getting inside creates everything for the outside receiver in Derek Carr.
Yeah, I really like what you said about the footwork and the timing. I think that's really crucial on this play. In my opinion, Derek Carr is definitely one of the most active cerebral quarterbacks before the snap. And I wanted to talk about this play because it's one the Patriots have actually run for years with McDaniels, who will definitely bring it over. Brady actually stole it from Peyton Manning. But first, I want to ask you, what is Derek Carr doing before the snap with all this motion? What kind of man zone tells is he getting here to make this play really work?
So what Derek Carr is looking for as he's doing all the motion is he's looking to get a one high safety. This play is designed to be able to isolate a free safety. So you're going to see here as he motions one guy across, the Broncos are communicating, hey, safety on the top hash, drop down. Okay, you need to fill and be the run support down there. So as soon as Derek Carr sees that, that's when I think he's checking. I know in the Raiders system last year, they would give Derek 2 or 3 options in packages as he would go up to the line of scrimmage. So that's what he's looking for. I get a one high safety right here. Bingo. I'm going to the double seam concept. Now we got it off of play action. We get a little bit of movement by those linebackers and kind of split flow by the linebackers. And he's coming out. He's got depth by the safety. And on this one off the play action, you see how quick he is with his feet. I'm coming out and I'm really trying to, as you said, the Patriots hit Gronk right here. This is what Tom Brady did so well, is all he needed was a little split by those underneath linebackers off the play action, and he was going to find a hole to drive it in there. Nice job by Hunter Renfrow to navigate the bodies, find that hole, and Derek getting that ball out right between those two linebackers.
As Brady said, Gronk has actually half his career yardage on this concept. Why, in your opinion, is this play so hard to defend?
Well, off of play action, I mean, that's the first part of it, is that you get play action and the linebackers have to respond. And so, once they respond and move lanes, that's what starts making this successful. But the other thing is Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, they would run this play and they would just say to themselves, I'm going to throw this to Gronk. It's just a matter of where I find the window. So it wasn't even like you might get the backside linebacker to flow over, and they might hit this outside the backside linebacker. They might hit it in between the first 2 linebackers. And so his whole goal when he ran this play was, I'm going to get some kind of movement. Now just get turned fast enough that if you have to throw it between 40 and 45, you can. You got to throw it between 45 and the backside, safety linebacker 29, you can. If 29 flows strong, I'll throw it all the way on the backside of 29. So I've seen them throw every single window on this. And so nothing can really stop me, from throwing this route.
Yeah, I'm really excited that McDaniels already can see so many plays that he's been running for years on the Raiders film. And that's why this next play excites me as well, which is Haas wide juke. And this is a play, they've run it a million times over their entire career with Brady and McDaniels over there. They famously ran it 3 times in a row to win Super Bowl 53 against the Rams. And just to explain what Haas wide juke stands for, the H in Haas stands for the hitches outside, and the S's refer to the seams. And then the tagged route for the Y tight end is the juke route. I'm curious, why do you think this play is so hard to defend?
Well, it's so hard to defend because it has an answer for everything. And that, to me, you just can't find very many plays in your playbook that have an answer for every single coverage. The way that you actually read this is you really should be reading this outside in. So you'll notice right here, he probably could have thrown either one of the hitches outside. You get corner off, you get that middle close look that we talked about. You want to come out and work these hitches. If those outside linebackers push to the hitches, now we have, just like on the very last play we looked at, you have your double seam concept. You can isolate the free safety and you can go side to side based on where he goes. And then kind of the recovery piece is down to the juke. That's kind of your check down on this play. If you get a cover two look, if we can envision that, a rolled corner on both sides, those hitches should turn to go routes. So now we have a 2-on-1 on both sides against the high safety. And then, of course, if you get man-to-man, we can convert those hitches if we don't have off coverage. But that's where the juke becomes so important, is now we get one of our best players one-on-one with the entire field to work. You know, normally a juke route is what we're seeing right here. Go set up over the ball. If somebody matches to you, then you juke and you come back to the other side. On this particular Haas concept, as you know, Alex, they give that player, that juke player, the ability to hook, break across the field, or bounce back out to the same side of the field. And so you have a good player with all that space and everybody else running out of there. It's like, pick your poison. I mean, you know, how are you going to stop that kind of player? And as I said, you're going to have three guys, Davante Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, that can all play that particular role. And worst case scenario, I get my best player work in the middle of the field against a linebacker or against a one-on-one matchup. And I love that.
I'm very excited, and I'm really interested to see what McDaniels, how he creates space in general, and especially, as you were mentioning, Kurt, that Hunter Renfrow is really a player that I have not really seen this style of play before. This route blew me away. Of course, he had basically a couple different routes similar to this, and just watching him, he is truly a mind flayer in football form. I was trying to figure out how I would tag this concept. I basically came up with a stick China, like a double stick China, where he runs a stick route, and then I know a lot of coaches refer to China as just when a receiver cuts back in, and then he kind of runs another stick where he's kind of almost going vertical, and then China's again. Can you explain why it's so hard to guard him when he's basically breaking the game of football like this, and then what kind of role you envision for him in McDaniels' offense?
So if you watch a lot of tape on Hunter Renfrow, you can go all the way back to when they played the Rams. It might have even been in preseason, where Hunter Renfrow, did this, and then he faked the wheel, and then he came back inside and he beat Jalen Ramsey. And there was another time where he did this and he hesitated, like he was going to come back inside, and then he ran the wheel and he won on the wheel as well. And so I believe this is a creative route that has happened over time based off of Hunter Renfrow's field. That a lot of teams will do something like this and they'll just run Hunter Renfrow on a straight wheel route, push to the flat, and then turn it up the sideline. Well, Hunter's been able to add a little freeze to it and then run the wheel. So I think they saw that and they had success with that. So now they said, Hunter, be creative. We know that you're going to run back underneath on a return route here. You're going to allow the tight end to clear out, and then you've got time to work it. So Hunter, I think, just said, hey, I'm going to fake that wheel. Hesitation, fake wheel. I'm going to get Xavier Howard to go because he's seen that on film. Now I'm going to duck back underneath him. And so that's the creativity and the freedom that Derek Carr allows Hunter Renfrow because he's so smart, and he allows some of these things that look like they're very unorthodox.
If there's really 4 elements of this route, I would say that Howard has 3 of them. He has the outside, the inside. He's ready to go up for that wheel like you were talking about. And then he's just like, what the heck is this? This is not something I've ever seen before of anybody, really. This is Renfrow creating new routes that I personally, I don't know about you, I've never seen this before.
So Xavier Howard here, he's seen this wheel route. He's seen this hesitation wheel and how it scored touchdowns for him. And so he's seen that on film. I don't know if he's seen this complementary piece to it. He got this hesitation and, almost like he's going to go back inside. And then he starts to the wheel. And I think Howard's going, I got you. I saw this on tape. You're not going to fool me with this. And now all of a sudden, boom, they add an extra piece to it. And I know Howard's going, are you kidding me? Like, they never showed me that on tape. I knew exactly what I was getting And he added that extra piece, and Hunter Renfrow does it as well as you can right here.
Yeah, and I really think it's important to note how late he is in the progression here. This is definitely not something you could watch him right off the bat and have him be that first progression. Carr gets from left to right here. He has to even break the pocket, and putting Renfrow that deep in the progression at 4 or 5, this really gives him time to do basically whatever the hell he wants, and we can see how well these two players sync up together. I think giving Renfrow this much time, if they're able to do that, which is definitely challenging, but I think that's really the key on this play.
Well, and you mentioned something interesting too, is that he's, really the third or fourth progression here. That's the other thing, is that a team that plays man-to-man coverage like Miami does a lot. Howard's probably also thinking, okay, he doesn't have time to do all of this and be a part of the progression. And so, that's another piece to the puzzle, is not always just putting him in that number one spot, as we talked about, Darren Waller, Davante Adams, 1-2. We can start designing things for those two guys and allow Hunter Renfrow to do some of this stuff because we put him as the number 2 or the number 3 in the progression. So now he gets a chance to truly use the patience as a wide receiver, and he can use that to his advantage.
Definitely. Kurt, this makes me all very excited about this Raiders offense. I always learn a lot when I'm watching Derek Carr, just how cerebral he is. And that brings me to Quarterback Confidential, where I also learn a lot. Just remind us a bit of what you're doing over there, because it's incredible stuff.
Well, QB Confidential is a teaching platform that I created really around the quarterback position, but really based on offense as a whole. And so what QB Confidential is, it's a website that I created that breaks down 5 different components of playing the position in offensive football. Blackboard breakdowns, which to me is just kind of like learning the nuances of the game, what defenses are doing, how we call different things. My ABCs, where it's actually about quarterback technique, which so few guys truly understand, but is so vital, obviously. It's building a playbook. So route design, like we just talked about, and having those complementary pieces and the details that become so important. I've got a leadership component that I call outside the box. And then I have a film study, which I call study ball, where I do kind of what we just did, break down film every week and tie it into different concepts that I'm talking about throughout the platform. So it's one of a kind. It's qbconfidential.com. Check it out, jump on, subscribe to it. You get 2 weeks free to see what it's all about. But I just don't think there's anything else I'll get out.
Yes, and whenever I'm watching, I always learn a ton, and I think it's really great. It's not just for quarterbacks, not just for coaches, but for fans who want to learn more about things that we've talked about today. It is a great tool. I highly recommend it. And Kurt, that is going to do it for us today. I'm very appreciative of your time. Thank you so much for coming back on. And I really appreciate everything that you're doing for the football game. And thank you so much.
You got it, Alex. And I know, we're all over YouTube for this little piece. I've got to just plug QB Confidential on YouTube as well, just for people to jump on there and get a feel for what we're doing on the platform as a whole.
100%. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Until next Saturday. See ya.